Yeah, baby.
I know I might have to get this thing published like today. All right, everybody, welcome to the world's okayest mountain bike podcast. It's finally happening. We finally found, I've got a hard stop in about 45 minutes, but we have finally found the time to record, except today it's just me and Ryan until Kyle jumps in, which he might jump in. But what does Kyle know anything? Because today's podcast is all about today recording. It is Tuesday, October 11th. And this Saturday, Ryan and I will be racing. Well, I'm going to use the term racing liberally here. We will be racing the BT Epic. Ryan, this is your first race in how long?
Let's just say like a cross country race. It's like 6 years. We all have talked about my epic failures with enduro. So let's just say I haven't raced in about 6 years.
Yeah. And your enduro failures have more to do with crashing than lack of speed. Like, you know, you can ride just fine. But just want to clarify that.
Let's just say my speed maybe contributed to my crashing.
Well, that is the age-old question, is like, are you really the fastest man on the track if you end up crashing halfway through the moto?
That's correct.
Maybe not. You know, if you can't sustain the speed, then maybe you don't really have it. But
listen, I love to maybe self-glorify myself, but let's just be real, and I just crashed a lot. So my glory days are over, my friend.
We got 52 and a half hard miles ahead of us. Oh, look who just jumped into the party here.
Oh, my.
Kyle, we just got started, but we've got 52 and a half hard
single track. Me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right.
As I was saying for the third time, we've got 52 and a half hard single track Ozark miles ahead of us this Saturday. And Ryan, you know, I know you're training. I get the sense from you you're feeling a little behind the 8-ball here.
Oh, I'm way behind the 8-ball. Like you know, I didn't get to comment, but you know, you use the term race lightly, and I'm just gonna say I'm participating with a number plate.
That was me last year. I mean, my plans.
So Ryan, were you to get the fitness you wanted, man?
No, I'm nowhere near where I wanted to be.
Well, I've got good news for you. In the weekend leading up to this race, I basically spent it in the worst way possible. Lots of driving, flying, and eating copious amounts of queso and Tex-Mex food down in Houston. So I basically, as far as nutrition goes, and probably even physical prep, I've done a decent job leading up to this past weekend, but I don't know how much you can really blow it at this point. You know, there's not much to be gained. But if you have a lot that you could lose, I mean, if it's possible, I don't know, I didn't weigh myself, but if it's possible to put on about 3 to 5 pounds in one weekend, I think I might have done it.
Man.
Down there, boy. You can't get that kind of
the curse of the queso.
Oh my God. There was a shirt at Torchy's Tacos. It says "Body by Queso." I should have bought it and worn it for the race.
I'm not gonna lie, Clint. Like here about a month ago, I kind of had a panic moment. Like I think it was when you bought your bike, and I'm like, for sure, Clint is gonna straight up kill me in this race. And so I'm feeling a little better about myself, but I'm nowhere near saying like I could even beat you. So I'm just going to have a good time, and you know, it is what it is at this point. I will say on Sunday I put in 42 miles. Did a lap at Lost Valley, then rode down, went up Matson Hill Road, did a lap at Matson, back into Lost Valley, back through Lost Valley to the truck. And I didn't feel terrible. I actually felt pretty good. But that's half the climbing of what we're going to be doing. So,
see, okay. It's like I haven't ridden that far yet, but I have definitely done more climbing than that, or at least as much, multiple times.
Yeah. So,
Brian, still probably 4,000 foot of vert, though, isn't it?
No, it was under 3.
Yeah,
Oh, was it under 3?
100.
Yeah, 42 miles. It was like 20. I'd have to look up the Strava, but I want to say it was only like 26 or 28, something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot like about like a lap at Berryman for climbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you feeling like, I don't even remember what time they all start, but are you thinking a group 2 start or a group 3? Because it's pro.
Yeah, because I don't know. Like maybe this is sounding a little self-centered, but I know how it can bunch up in some of the tech spots and early on, and that'll just make me like when people stop to walk across a rock, I'm gonna get mad. So I probably want to be in the back of group 2, not the front of group 3. Whatever. I said what I said.
Yeah, I'm down for whatever. It doesn't really matter. So tell me, what's your bike setup gonna be? What tires you running? I really want to know that.
Yeah, so I'm running.
Of course you do.
So I'm running our Vitorias, our good friends over at Vitoria. I'm running a Sierra up front and a Mezcal in the back.
You're gonna be fast. Dang.
It's pretty fast. I will say I'm actually kind of struggling with pressure on them. I've got them to where I'm low enough in pressure to where I feel like finally I'm getting some traction and I'm not just pushing the front end through corners. But then I'm feeling rim strikes at times on it, and so yeah, I don't know. I'm struggling with that. I'm struggling with suspension setup still on this bike. Like, it's an awesome, wicked fast bike.
You're kind of cutting out on us there, buddy.
With it, so. Did I lose you guys?
You cut out just a little bit. You're back though.
Sorry.
So you got the
Ryan, what tire pressures are you running?
I'm running 17 in the front and 15 in the back.
Ooh, 15 in the back.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's low.
We're not the same. That's for sure.
It is low, but like otherwise, I just felt like I couldn't get the traction I needed. And when I say rim strikes, like they're not mega or anything like that, but I'm definitely feeling it. So.
See, tires, we're running the same front tire. I've got a Sierra. I'll probably be running 20 to 22 PSI. I haven't decided. Somewhere in there in the front. In the rear, though, I had a Barzo on, and I was totally fine with how it rode and how fast it rolls. But, man, out there, I have poked holes in that thing in 2 different spots. And I could patch it. I've already got 1 patch in it. I could put another in it and run it. But I also have like a brand new Maxxis Ardent, which is slightly heavier. I don't know if it rolls as fast. It should be similar as far as I can tell. Doesn't seem that different. But I think I trust it to not get a hole in it. And I'm really struggling with that choice because, I got to hang with you. And I know that Mezcal is going to roll super fast down the gravel, especially.
It does roll good on gravel, but I'm not a gravel masher anyway, so I'm like that's not anywhere I'm really pushing myself really. So
I feel like
now, are you guys trying to start together? I mean, are you guys planning on lining up and then rolling out together?
I mean, I'm
it's
going to
be a
start.
friendly
Ryan doesn't matter what he wants to do. I'm
25.
going to do it anyway. I'm going to find him in the line and just get right by him.
He's going to F me the whole time.
Well, I'm hoping to heckle you both for the last 8 miles or so.
Yeah, and you're running the trail casings, right, Ryan? The gray wall on the Mezcal.
On the yes. I'm sorry. Yep.
Yeah, the Sierra only has 1 casing. You don't have any options there, but okay. So yeah, you're not running hyperlight. I just think your roll resistance on the gravel will be a little better. But man, I don't know, on those chunky sections of the Berryman and stuff, I don't know that your tire is always on something loose or whatever. Anyway, I wonder if the roll pattern really matters as much at that point. But
yeah, I don't know.
I need to just run what I've got because I think about, okay, well, how much time am I going to lose if I get a flat, and how much time am I going to lose if I can't plug it and I've got to put a tube in? That's probably going to cost me more than 20 grams of tire or something like that.
Right. No, 100%. Yeah, guaranteed.
But I'll be on the Izzo. I've got a 40 mil stem coming in, so I can maybe scoot my seat back just a hair again. Been a little worried about the lower back on this new bike, just not having the position dialed yet like it needs to be. I think I've got it pretty good though. I changed some things, went for a ride last week and didn't have any issues. So yeah,
I'll be packing plenty of ibuprofen if you need some. So
we'll be out there popping pain pills on the trail. Yeah, man, the Izzo. I know it's not a cross country bike. It's not a pure cross country bike, but compared to my Enduro, it's way lighter. And
oh, you're gonna be way better off. Yeah.
I've had some times on it that were significantly faster than the same segment I've had on my Enduro, even when I'm fresh. So I take that as a good sign. It's a really weird thing though, because I will feel like I'm not going very fast. Like I'll feel like I'm just plodding along. My cadence isn't too high. And I'm like, man, I thought I'd be going faster than this through here. But then I'll look down at my gearing and I'm like in the middle of the cassette with a 32 tooth front chain ring instead of on like one of the first, second, or third easiest gears like I would normally be on my Enduro. I feel like I'm going the same speed though, but I look down, I'm like, oh, I have to be going faster because my ratio in my gearing is way higher right now than it normally is. But it just doesn't feel like I'm going faster, but then the stopwatch don't lie.
Yeah, it is for sure. Like you'll that lighter bike is going to make a big difference for you. There's no doubt about it. So.
Well, I finally got the suspension sorted out. I'm lucky I had some I found some shock spacers that I wasn't sure if they would fit that shock that I had, but it fit. Put the next bigger one in, and then I added 2 more tokens to the fork, which I could still add 1 more. But I will say that 34 when it's stock with just 2 tokens in it, that sucker is soft. Like
so
they are light on the damping on that thing.
Is that a regular 34? Is it step cast? What fork is that?
It's the 34 with the grip 2, the factory float.
Okay.
It's not the step cast. It's like the regular 34.
Yeah.
And it's just the float DPS out back. So Kyle, you're gonna come hang out. This is a chance for people to see the podcast boys sort of in action.
I think we need to do some pit talking on Friday. Like, bring the camera.
Man, I gotta be honest, man. I after the ride I had at Greensfelder yesterday, I'm hoping I'm fresher than you guys are at your 40 mile than I am from riding those last 8 with you guys. Man, I got worked at Greensfelder.
I don't think that'll be a problem.
I mean, to be fair, I was less than 24 hours off of a 2-hour hair scramble the day before where I just got absolutely destroyed. But I was huffing and puffing at Greens yesterday, shoulders, back, all sore as could be and everything.
Well, Kyle, the last thing we do before we get back to Bass is the Three Sisters, and then we have the stupid asphalt.
Oh, really?
Right after that, past Bass, so we'll probably be a bit in the hurt locker at that point.
We're gonna.
All right. Well, my plan is to cheer you guys on starting at Bass. Probably catch you guys at Berryman. Maybe throw an empty beer can at you as you ride by, and then head back to Bass and jump on and try to push you guys for the last 8 or 9 or whatever that loop is out there.
Right.
Hey, if you're gonna toss beers, don't toss me one empty. I need all the painkillers I can.
I'm just hoping So I talked my poor wife into going down to watch the BT Epic, to watch my friends Clinton and Ryan race the BT Epic on our 10th wedding anniversary. So our anniversary is actually Friday the 14th, and that's when we're heading down to go camping with 2 small children in a tent. So we'll see how it goes. Our last family camping trip was absolutely miserable.
Yeah, it's terrible.
What's that?
Too. That's the other thing. But Hannah and the kids should be out at the Berryman campground, and then they might come down to Bass after, and be my little pit crew at the BCG mark. Kyle,
So
Ryan, are you packing the pickle juice?
I'm probably just gonna be working my supplements. I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good about just the tailwinds and my nutrition. So probably no pickle juice. I don't know. Maybe I should have some as a reserve, but I could just down more supplements if I need to. So I am undecided if I'm running a pack or if I'm going to just do bottles and rely on water stations. So
yeah, man. Last year, now they swore they were going to fix this for this year, but last year the water stations after Berryman, so you still had 30 miles to go. They were all empty by the time I got there. And that was the case for a lot of people ahead of me too. So my plan is to basically be self-sufficient on the water. I don't want to carry that much, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to slow me down.
Well, worst case scenario too. You could always grab a bottle or a bladder and a pack at the Berryman from your support team too.
Oh yeah, I have that plan. I'm going to have a bottle on the bike and a bottle in the hip pack for the first till I get to Berryman. Then I'm going to swap those out, fresh bottle on the bike and backpack or water in it for the last half.
I'd like to be able to go just 2 bottles on the bike and all my food in my jersey pockets and no pack, but I don't know.
Yeah, I bought one of those little frame bags to sit on top to put my food in, just because I'm always struggling to get it out of my pockets and I don't want to stop. And
yeah, same here. So yeah, I'm excited too. So for a couple reasons, my wife and my youngest, they're coming down. We bought a new camper, so we're camping out the whole weekend. And my wife and him have never seen me compete at anything, so my competing days are pretty limited nowadays for multiple reasons. But I don't know. I'm just kind of excited
per request, I believe.
Yeah, per my wife's request. But my wife's actually kind of excited about this. Obviously camping, she's excited about, and hanging out. So I don't know. I'm pretty pumped about that. And then my neighbor Carl Hansen, a phenomenal triathlete, super super fit dude, like got into mountain bikes this year, and kind of piggybacked on the BT Epic thing with me and Clinton, and so they're coming down with us. He's racing, and he's probably going to crush us all because he's amazingly fit. So I'm excited. Like, that's kind of fun. He's become a good friend of mine. Obviously, we live right next door, and our youngest boys are the same age. So hanging out with them, and Kyle, you've got to meet him and hang out with him. He's just a cool dude. So I'm pumped for
Carl's
that too.
Carl's a good dude.
Yeah, you know what's ridiculous,
I'm
boys? I'll tell you what's ridiculous is there's a Clydesdale class, and I don't qualify for it. So
Clinton,
like
why would you qualify for a Clydesdale class? You're like 5'9", 180. Why would you be in a Clydesdale class?
It's 200 pounders, okay. I feel like next year I could, if I wanted a real shot at a good finish, maybe I should just gain the weight, right? Instead of doing the hard work. Well, I'd still have to do the hard work, but they don't have
you
a
just
big
get to eat more
class though. That's a shame. That's what they really need.
What class?
I don't think.
Well, that's kind of a new thing. I mean, the BT is not a big hitters race. I mean, it's classically been one of the biggest, most prominent cross country races in all of the Midwest. I mean, they're not the big.
I think it's 750 this year instead of 650.
Entries?
I don't know. I think they bumped it up. Of course, there's always a handful of people at the end that decide they can't do it or whatever, but trying to see who the farthest person we have coming away. We got some Texas people, a lot of Arkansas people, Tennessee, Illinois, Kansas, Arizona. Got a guy coming from Arizona in the pro class. Ryan, I forgot you're a session. We're not even in the same class.
I'm a what?
You're an old man. We're not even in the same class.
I know.
But that's all right.
So even more pressure on you to beat me.
Not really. No. there's plenty of dudes in the 50 plus whatever and the Clydesdale class that are gonna whoop me.
Oh yeah.
Shooting.
How many people do you guys have in your respective classes?
Oh geez. Kyle, this is one of those races you don't even think about that kind of stuff unless you're really in it to win it.
Again, Kyle, I'm like, who knows and who cares? My perspective is like, I honestly just want to not be completely miserable, like to the point like I don't even want to eat dinner after the race.
By the way, after the race, there will be a blueberry pie in my truck. That's the plan.
Oh, I see. I want to have enough. I want to have enough energy to consume a piece of Clinton's blueberry pie.
There you go.
And if I ever got energy for anything, it's always for pie.
40 to 49 and 114 in the 30 to 39. So, I don't know. That doesn't mean a whole lot to me, but it is what it is. There's only one name I care about on this list, and that is Ryan Brown. So Ryan, have you weighed your bike? What's that sucker weigh?
Yeah, right at 23.
Okay. So how much less weight is going to be going up the hills in total than with me? So my bike's, well, I had to put on different cranks on my bike. They're not as light as the stock one. So I don't know what the weight difference is between 175 carbon XOs and 170 Descendant 7Ks. I don't know. But my bike should be probably about 27 and a half, 28 pounds with that before I start loading up water and all that stuff.
Okay. And I'm 160, so we're at 183, let's say.
Okay. And I'm, well, right now probably 190. I was under it, but so 218, thereabouts. All right, something like that.
218.
Something like I don't know. I'm at it's just fine actually.
So what? What's
that?
35 pound difference?
Yeah.
Or 45. 35.
That's a lot of weight over 52 and a half miles. You might be feeling better than you think.
Like I said, I felt pretty good on Sunday for my long ride, but I wasn't pushing it, and it was half the climbing that we're going to be doing. So,
right.
Yeah, 42-mile day is a big day, though, man. I mean, that's a lot of riding.
Yeah, it was a big day. Like, it was for sure. I still feel it a little bit in the legs. Like I'm not miserable. I wasn't miserable after the ride or anything, but definitely feel that you worked your legs. But I'm going to do a light spin tonight, get them kind of blood flowing again, and get them ready to go. So,
I mean, I did 9 miles with 1,000 foot of elevation, and I was smoked after that.
Yeah, but that's a lot of climbing, Kyle. 9 miles, that's over 100 feet per mile. So that's kind of what I should have been doing to train for this. But
yeah, I've done a lot of riding out there, but my big rides kept getting cut short by punctures, which is why I'm just going to stick with the tire I've got because I think it will. The knobs are just a little bit taller, and the casing seems just a tiny bit thicker.
Yeah.
Just because I don't want another have to deal with poking holes in tires. That's a real bump. That happened to me last year on top of all the other things. So hopefully the knees will be feeling right.
So what time is everybody planning on heading down Friday? Or you're not, are you, Klint, on Friday?
I mean, I'll come down to do my registration and all that taken care of. So I'll come down. I don't know what time you getting there.
I should be there by noon at the latest.
So you'll be there before me. We're probably going to leave here at noon since I got to pull Connor out of school. We want him to at least get a half day. So we'll probably be leaving here at noon or 1. I'm planning on trying to be at the campsite by 3.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I think we should do like a little recording, like from the race live at the BT Epic or something. Like that'd be kind of cool. Just a quick little round table. How we feeling last minute? Maybe get a little special guests in on it with us if anybody's hanging around that's racing it too.
Yeah, we need to figure out who some of these pros are that are kind of big hitters that are kind of, favorites to possibly win, because I don't know. I don't really
Yeah.
know any of these names.
Yeah, I don't know who's on it. I'd have to look. We could also talk to some of our teammates for their last races. Teammates like Radel and Rogavine, some of the heavy hitters on the Momentum team, and Brian Gaynor. He's riding a single speed. I heard he was riding pretty good. So.
Yeah, he's been winning.
He's fit as a fiddle right now, man. Brian's been getting the miles in.
Yeah. Nathan Goff. I'd like to talk to Nathan, our good friend and buddy. He's been riding a lot, so see how prepared he's feeling. And, I don't know, it'd be fun. Maybe I'll even bring out the GoPro and do a little interviewing that way, huh?
Speaking of the Momentum team, I mean, should we talk about it? I mean, everybody knows.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody knows. No secret.
Klint.
Momentum Cycles is sold to Trek Bicycles. So.
Yeah. So what this means for all y'all listening, especially if you're a bike shop owner, is
we're free
podcast
agents.
Boys are free agents now. So let me know if you got a deal.
Yeah, let me know, y'all. So I did get an offer from Trek. Actually, they sent me a job offer, but the way I work and what I do and how I do it's not gonna. It's not going to align well with the Trek corporate program. I do like their products, but the way that their shop's going to run, I don't think they'll have a spot for me. There's a shop in town that I might go talk to and try to see what I can put together. But I'm really gonna miss it. Like, this is an entire podcast by itself for me. Just the people that even listen to this podcast. It's been fun having a shop to help people get into bike.
About 5 seconds ago, right when you were getting emotional.
Oh man.
No, I think.
I'm sitting.
One of the things, obviously we've all been Momentum team riders and friends of the shop. Kyle and I kind of even working like a side gig kind of thing or whatever you want to call it. And, fortunate to get awesome bikes and machinery to ride because of that, and we're thankful for Chris and Steve and all that opportunity. So it's kind of sad to see it go. I don't know what's going to happen with the team. There's kind of hinted like somehow it may continue. I don't know how that'll be. I kind of hope so, because it's been fun. I don't know, it may be the last time run the Jersey, and kind of be sad, but cool in a way too, and just thankful and getting emotional myself, guys, but I'm a free agent. We're all free agents, so somebody pick us up.
Well, that being said, one, Kyle's gonna have, like, I'm gonna be interested to see what brand Kyle becomes a fanboy of, because when he's locked into one, I mean, it's something to behold. But
loyalty, man. You take care of me and help my people get bikes. That's what I'm gonna miss the most, man. Is just having like a bike shop to call home. There's so many people that I've been able to share cycling with and help get into cycling, and just do it through the comfort of like normal friend conversations. Then meeting up at the shop and working by appointment. I've spent 15 years in the industry, and it's I've really enjoyed it, man. I mean, all the different people that I've gotten to help get into mountain biking and everything, it's going to be really hard for me to not have access to that anymore.
So I am interested. We don't have too much time left here, but are there any bikes out there in the world that have got you interested now, maybe more than you would have been before, just because of trying to be limited to the brands the shop carries or whatever? open to some stuff that's out there?
So, I mean, there's definitely been brands that have always interested in me. So, like, Pivot has always been something that's interested me. I've had some really good times on some pivots. Pivot, Transition, are two brands that we never sold that I am excited to explore the options of. And then of course Santa Cruz too. I mean, we've always been a Santa Cruz dealer. I just could never afford to put one together, but Santa Cruz has always been on the list. We love Lauren's, my wife's Juliana. But honestly, like even when I look at the offerings from all those different brands, because I kind of did like this scatterbrain, like, oh my gosh, like I might not ever have access to an industry deal ever again. What do I want? What do I need to do? And then really after racking my brain for about a month, after figuring out like what trigger should I try to pull before I no longer have access to it, I don't know if there's a bike out there that anybody makes that would do what I wanted to do better than what I ride now. So I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah, it's kind of how I feel about my enduro. There's some sweet enduro bikes out there, but I'm like, I don't know. The thing pedals so well. It just does everything I want it to do. I mean, all you could do is maybe start taking weight off, but then what does that do for reliability? I do think I mentioned this to you guys the other day because I had someone that maybe would have bought my frame off my enduro, but I didn't do it because I'm like, I can't replace it. Like bikes are just getting more expensive, so it's not like I can sell it and get a new frame for. I mean, I'd be out, $500 to $1,000 at least.
Just to make a swap for no reason.
Yeah, I think the DV8 Claymore looks like a pretty sweet enduro bike and has really good reviews. It's some of the high pivot stuff. I think they've gotten the high pivot thing down where they still pedal really well or like pretty normally. So somewhere like Shepherd
Da Vinci's
would be cool, but
yeah, and then Da Vinci's had some bikes that have interested me, like just they've done a lot of work with Dave Weigel, and they've got fast guys riding Da Vinci's, and some of the fastest guys to ever ride a bike have done a lot of winning on Da Vinci's. I've never ridden one, never really seen one in person. I've never even seen a shop that stocks them, but as a brand, they've got some decent pedigree in racing.
Yeah, there's this brand. They have a bike they make. I was super interested in, but went ahead and got my YT just because I got a pretty good deal on it. But this brand called Trek makes a top fuel. Looks like the kind of bike I'd like to ride. Now that I'm free to ride anything, I'm pretty interested in Trek. Isn't that terrible? There was a moment there I thought I was going to end up right back on a Trek after all this. Klint, go ride anything.
Trek's definitely. Top fuel looks good. The new Fuel EX looks good. I mean, they're a little late. They're a lot late to the game, really. But I mean, they're finally integrating some stuff that has become pretty much industry standards. I mean, internal storage compartments, wild adjustability on geometry and head-to angle and stuff like that. It's stuff that Specialized has been doing for years, that Santa Cruz has been doing for at least a year. And Trek is finally doing it. And, I imagine the product they put out with it's going to be absolutely stellar. But yeah, no, there's a little bit behind the industry standards, but I mean, they've got good stuff, man. Like I've never had a Trek bike I didn't like, as everybody that listens is well aware.
Yeah.
So if I go something long travel, if I get back into something a little more playful and not an XC, I mean, I'm probably going to go exotic and go zeroed with a pinion drivetrain.
I knew this part was coming at some point.
Why is
that, Ryan?
So my company that I work for, BRP, in the power sports industry, we about 2 months ago, we purchased Pinion gearboxes, which is a center mount gearbox. If you're not familiar with it, look it up. It's really cool for bicycles. So you basically have one cog out back and all your gearing's up in the middle by your cranks. And so our company actually bought that with the idea that we are going to venture into human powered products. So both e-bike and non-electric. And so that might be something that in the next 2 to 3 years, my company that I work for expands into. And I'm definitely interested to kind of check more out from it. I've even kind of hinted around to some of the personnel, like, hey, I know a little bit about bicycles, and if you need a test rider, wink, wink. So I don't know. It may never come to fruition for me or in the company, but definitely kind of once our company announced that, I was like, hey, this seems pretty cool. I've been interested in these gearboxes anyway. Like, maybe I'll end up on a zeroed.
I've been hoping they could get gearboxes just a little better for a long time. I think that would be great, especially somewhere like Shepherd or at the bike park, anywhere it's real super chunky or whatever, just not having a derailleur to smash. Going through coin slots and stuff like that, that would be so nice.
Yeah.
Not to mention the suspension, it works a little more freely, or it can work a little more freely on the back and run smoother. So yeah, I'm all for the gearbox thing. What I've heard, so we know a guy who's got one, Michael Fleeg. When you're actually in a low gear, like climbing, just spinning up the hill, you really can't tell the difference. Like, you can't feel the resistance. And apparently it's when you're like in sprint mode in some of the higher gears and you're really trying to charge, is more like when you can feel that little bit of extra drag.
Yeah.
Apparently that breaks in over time even a little better. They can just put a trigger shifter on that. I think it'd be great. And I honestly don't care that you can't pedal while you shift, because at least on my bikes, I don't shift under a hard load anyway. Even if I'm sprinting, I take that little split second to kind of lighten the pedal stroke, so I'm not shifting under like hard torque anyway. Like, that's not a big deal to me. Like, I don't want to break chains and eat on cogs and all that kind of stuff, so it's no big deal to me.
What's Kyle doing?
I have no idea.
You don't even want to know.
No.
Maybe we don't.
My imagination is wild now.
I'm getting changed in my car currently.
That's not, Kyle. My brain went a lot worse places than that.
Yeah.
No, I've got a meeting at 2:00, and it required a wardrobe change. So that's what I'm doing.
That's awesome.
To all our listeners, if you see me and Ryan, by the way, we didn't really talk about this. My new bike, I just mentioned my YT Izzo. I was in desperate need of some bro points. I basically have none, so I figured a solid black YT is about as I could do. It is a short travel bike though, so I don't think it gets as many points as like a Castro would or a Jeffsy, but it's just solid black, man, and it's a YT, so I feel like that counts for something, right?
100%. Yeah, you're like, I'm definitely not as cool as you on my 120 Epic Evo,
But it doesn't have minions on it, so it definitely gets some points. I mean, it's the most bro-y thing that you're ever gonna race a cross country race on, I think.
Yeah.
Or marathon. I guess technically we'd call this marathon, right?
Yeah, it's a cross country marathon. A little bit of both.
Yeah, cross country marathon. But anyway, for those of you listening, if you see us at the race, like, come talk to us. You want to jump in and make a train, just a Ryan Brown train. We'll just put him at the front and we'll all follow him at whatever speed he's want to go. Like,
yell at me
come
the
on.
whole time.
You're welcome. Maybe, well, I don't know, Ryan. I know this isn't an enduro race, but I have thought about maybe I should get in front just to control the downhill pace, make sure you don't hurt yourself.
Nah, I'm okay. I won't be pushing.
Man, why would you say such a thing? Don't put that voodoo on him, Ricky Bobby.
History, Kyle.
Yeah, no bad.
I would say such a thing.
It's all on you now, Clinton. If something happens, my wife's gonna be after you.
Tell you what, there's one spot on the climb, the last climb before Brazil Creek. So it's the last climb before the descent to the Brazil Creek camp. It's my favorite climb on the trail. It's smooth. It's all twisty and windy. Has some exposure. Dude, there is one spot on that. I pedal strike every time and end up falling into the side of the hill. There's like a hidden route, but you can't see it because it's around a corner. Like it's just out of your line of sight. So, Ryan, if I'm behind you, I'll be shouting, watch your pedals. I don't want you to, because there's a lot of exposure there on the other side. So I don't want you tumbling off into the bush.
Oh, it's going to be a good time. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing everybody down there. I'm kind of looking forward to just kind of being immersed in some mountain bike racing scene and talking to people. Getting down there somewhat early Friday to do so and just hang out and have a nice meal Friday
That's my
night.
favorite part.
Yeah, it's going to be.
That's my favorite part, man. Just the party, the culture, the community. That's what I enjoy the most.
Yep, 100%.
One last thing, Ryan. Time goal.
Oh gosh, just kind of looking at what I did last weekend, like under 7 hours is. I think I'd be happy. Like that's way more than I want to be riding, but I think that's probably just realistic.
Yeah.
Where were you at last year, Clinton?
8.
You're at
But
8.
I spent 20 minutes at Berryman Campground. I spent another 15 sitting on the stupid ground. I had terrible knee pain. Couldn't even stand up for the last 10 miles. I mean, literally, my leg would just collapse.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'll be under 7, but I don't think I'm going to be close to 6. That's for sure. So, I'd be happy right around that 7 or under mark for sure. So.
I'm shooting for 6.5. I did 30 miles out there, but a lot of it was gravel road. But I did 30 and 240, and that was with legs that wanted to cramp for the last 10 miles. I had to be pretty slow and smooth.
Yeah.
But I also went way harder for the first 20 miles. Like I was riding hard, like basically at that zone 4, zone 5 limit. Basically as hard as I could ride for the first 2 hours, and then my legs cramped. So I'm not gonna go that hard out of the gate anyway for this race. I don't think I'm not as worried about leg cramping on this. I did 30 and 240. I think 6.5 is within the realm of possibility for sure.
My goal is to start kind of like when I did the 100 milers down there and basically kind of ease in, and then when I get to Berryman Campground, hopefully I have the endurance left to go a little harder. So that was my plan when I had a good ride at the OT 100 the last year I did it, and it worked out pretty good. I actually had quite a bit of energy for the second half of the race. So that's going to kind of be I'm not in that fitness, but that's kind of my goal is to have more for the second half. So preserve early and then go a little harder. So,
it's weird with this kind of racing. You would think you could say, well, you can always slow down if you're going too fast, but man, it's kind of backwards. Is if you go too fast too early, you can't just maybe slow down a little bit. Sometimes you blow yourself up and then you have to slow down a ton. Because if you just start slow, you can, if you still have the energy, you can always build speed as you feel better and better. So,
yeah.
I mean, my plan, like I said, my plan is basically just to follow you, catch your draft up the gravel hill. That is miserable, man. It's just 4 miles of climbing, basically, to start the race.
Yeah.
That gravel road going that direction is so miserable. I hate it. And I hate it because I watch everyone just ride away. Like I just watch them disappear. But usually end up catching quite a few of them in the woods just not by pedaling super hard, but just by maintaining speed and flow around the turns and the up down twisties and rocks. Like I am always shocked at these races how many people like they cannot ride once it gets rough.
Hey, we're all out
That's
there
been my experience with every cross country race I've ever done, though, is that like I am usually the least fit person in the line, but oftentimes in the top 5 as far as my ability to make it through single track and cornering and down, like any descent. And so I have to almost sprint to get to the single track just so I can end up there first and let them pass me on the next climb.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So
All right, well,
look forward to it. It's gonna be fun.
We'll see you Friday. We will see you Friday. Thanks for
We'll
listening, everybody.
See you
And
Friday, y'all.
maybe we can get a Friday night recording done, but I don't know. I'm gonna want to go to bed, so I don't know if I'm gonna publish it or not. We'll
Yeah,
see.
we can do it
Well,
earlier.
Clint, just get down there around 4 to check in. Ryan will be there and he'll be settled in. I'll be in there, be getting settled in, and then we could all hang out for a little bit.
Yeah, I think that'll work. Hopefully.
Cool.
All right, see you guys. Bye.
Later, guys.
Yeah.